Welcome back to the channel. We sincerely hope that you are safe and well. We wanted to invite you on this walk. This is the walk we've been asked to do for such a long time, and as you can see, I have the man himself with me.
Morning.
We're looking forward because we're going to go from the Dunstable station as far as we can towards Luton. So this might be in a few bits. Stay tuned, enjoy the video, and we hope you enjoy the content.
Yep.
So we're actually starting exactly where we left off on the last video at the Dunstable North station, and we're really looking forward to this because we've got a lot of footage to show you, and hopefully you'll be able to follow along.
This is where we left off from our last walk from Leighton Buzzard. The first station here was built by the London and North Western Railway as a branch line from Leighton Buzzard. It opened on the 1st of June 1848 and was strategically placed along the main A5 or Watling Street. It was a small wooden building with one platform, had a head shunt, and as far as I know there were originally two sidings. Though Dunstable was not a major industrial town, it did have one redeeming feature. It was one day's ride from London, hence the reason there were so many coaching inns in the town. This is why the London and North Western Railway built the branch to capture the increasing demand for transport into London.
And you remember us filming this last time. This we think was a gas lamp which was at the original station.
Once the original railway station was removed, the new one was built just behind us, but it was on a curve because the track had to curve round to cross over the A5 and head towards Luton. In 1858, plans were made for the railway to run from Hertford via Welling into Luton and on to Dunstable. The plans included raising the level of the A5 by 3 foot 8 inches so the Luton, Dunstable and Welling Junction Railway could cross the busy A5 via a level crossing. This was rejected by Parliament as the road even then was so busy. So the road was in fact lowered and the line crossed via an embankment and bridge either side of the A5. The bridge became number 37. This meant that the whole station area Dunstable North had to be redeveloped. As you can see, the land this side is lower than the level of the land we're standing on. This all had to be built up as the level of the track went, the bridge carried on into the station. They couldn't lower it.
Right, and I'll quickly show you that by running over here. Way, quick! And as you can see, there we go. We're up high, and those buildings in road are down low.
Well, here we are actually standing in the bed of the turntable. You can see the turntable with the wagon, the two signals in the distance, and of course the station itself. I'm just going to move this away, and this is what it's like now.
So you can see where the station would have been over in the distance. You see the building there on the right and a bit of a car park.
The embankment is still here. The original London North Western station was demolished and a new brick-built station was built on a curve as the two lines met. In the lower left-hand side, you can see a picture of a guy called Brian Lockie. Brian Lockie was an exceedingly expert guy on railways and especially on the branch line here. The train you can see in the distance has actually got an LBSC skin pot flyer. That would have been a loco that he had procured for a railway trip that he organised so many of. Brian is sadly passed away and is greatly missed. Here we have a very interesting picture of a Class 4, a BR standard Class 4 locomotive waiting in the bay platform, which was the London and North Western Railway. And on the left hand side you can see an Class N7 locomotive of the LNER coming up from Luton on the Luton to Dunstable branch line. Now, it was ironic that there was only one train a day where you could go direct from Leighton Buzzard to King's Cross. All the other times you had to, if you was coming up from Luton, you had to get off at Dunstable North, get on the other train to carry on to Leighton Buzzard. This continued right up even into BR days.
So you came along and you got off here?
Yes.
Yeah. Jumped out and got on it?
Yeah, and then to carry on to Leighton Buzzard. The new station opened in 1866 and all the costs were met by the London and North Western Railway. The new station had two platforms, a bay platform used by the LNWR where locos from Leighton Buzzard would pull into, and the main platform was used by then the Great Northern Railway. There was a runaround loop and later a turntable was built. At the back of the station there was a large goods yard which trains ran through between Leighton Buzzard and Hatfield. Most of the time, if you wanted to catch a train from Luton to Leighton Buzzard, you had to get off at Dunstable North and change trains. This continued even into BR days.
We stood where we think that was. So the station became very popular, which was understandable because the market in Dunstable was very much a big thing. 100 years that went on for. Everybody was coming and going, perishable goods, animals, livestock, you know. But unfortunately, after the World War II, footfall started to drop off and interest started to drop off. The Leighton Buzzard line, well, that closed down in 1962 in June, and then the Great Northern line, that went in 1965 April. So the station now was no longer being used to its full potential. So the inevitable took place. So passengers stopped 1965 and now freight 1967. So sadly the station closed. Just leaving the station now and you can see the embankment the other side. Now we've got a beautiful picture we want to show you of this. So this is, we think, standing from about here is where this picture would have been taken, and you can see the loco coming across. What type of loco is that, Andy, do you know?
That's a Class 31.
So here we see the Class 31 coming across. It's coming across the bridge, which we'll show you in a moment, and here is the embankment where the photo of the train coming across was taken.
The bricks protruding out slightly from the wall would have been the original single track bridge, and the walls either side are the abutments that would have held back the embankment. Main A5 bridge that come across just here. There would have been a brick wall which was here until a few years ago, and just up here is the embankment where the line ran across. Unfortunately, a lot of the embankment now has been removed and they put this pathway in, so you can no longer mimic the original track bed.
1991, Andy stood in this very spot and took this photograph. This is what it looks like now. So here's the Sewell cut-in that was on our last walk. Andy is kindly showing you. And then we come to the level crossing by the forbidden car park. If you remember, during COVID, we weren't allowed to film that on the last video. Then we come into the station area and the goods yard, which we just spoke about. We cross over the road, Watling Street, and this is about where we're stood now. Any ideas what that is? Well, you know, it's a sleeper having a sleep. Just starting to go downhill now, heading towards Luton, and the next picture we'll take is from Andy's collection.
So here we are, roughly where the northern entrance would have been to the cement works. As you can see, the path leads to the right, where the original main line would have gone, and going straight ahead, then curving to the left, would have been the yard, the track going into the Dunstable cement works. On my right here would have been the original wood yard, which eventually became the oil depot.
Just over the side of the bank here, we've just found another long sleeper, possibly where the track would have divided off, so it would have been a much longer sleeper. So somebody's just chucked it down.
As possible, the sleeper we just found possibly could be one of these sleepers. As you can see, the track gets much wider here as it curves away, so therefore you need much longer sleepers.
We're standing in the exact spot where Andy took this photo, and we'll pan to the right. Track would have come through here, so that's the track going off that way, and then it would have divided off and gone through into this yard, through this section here. One or two old buildings in the distance that would have been there. You see the white one there. Just giving you an idea where we are on the map. The finger marks the spot as it divides off.
This picture was taken in December the 28th, 1991, and you can see the track bed curving away over towards the Dunstable Cement Works. This picture was actually taken at this point here where the track doubles, and quite nicely you can actually see the point lever which would have controlled the points themselves. And this is what it's like today.
Lots of bramble, and we're not going in to look for anything because we might get badly spiked for various plants.
Unfortunately, you can't go any further because this section has now been built on.
Yeah, and you see the houses in the background. One.
In 1858, plans were made for a railway to run from Hertford via Welling. LBS.
Hang on, it's not recorded.
Oh.
We are waiting for somebody to park their car, and they've pulled forward and pulled back, pulled forward and pulled back, pulled forward and pulled back, before we can film the next segment.
Strategically, the level of their so the Dunstable and Welling Junction Railway, I've got that wrong again. It's
right.
Right.
Stop. 3, 2, 1.